Thank you all for coming today. Last month, the Oversight and Government Reform Committee held a hearing entitled Regulatory Impediments to Job Creation. This hearing was the result of a committee effort to learn about which regulations were standing in the way of job creation. We heard from many employers and industries from across the nation. As Chairman of this subcommittee, I am especially looking forward to continue this work examining the effects of regulations on American job creators. This subcommittee has jurisdiction over the regulatory process, and we recognize that job creators do not live in a world where they are only subject to one regulation issued by one agency. In the real world, outside the Beltway, job creators are subject to numerous regulations and compliance obligations enforced by a virtual alphabet soup of Federal agencies. As we attempt to get our economy going again and get people back to work, it is crucial that we all start to think about the numerous burdens and mandates that we are putting on the private sector. On January 21, 2011, President Obama issued Executive Order 13563, directing agencies to, quote, take into account the cost of cumulative regulations. I applaud this common-sense plan. Today's hearing will examine whether the government has begun to follow this directive and what Congress can do to help implement it. I believe we should start by first looking at the bedrock of our economy, the manufacturing sector. U.S. manufacturing is the industry hit the hardest by regulatory cost, with per-firm cost at approximately $688,000, $500,000 greater than the national average cost for other industries. Moreover, small manufacturers bear a proportionally larger regulatory burden with an estimated cost of $26,000 per employee, more than double the burden that is faced by larger manufacturers. While the Oversight Committee was collecting information from job creators about the regulatory burdens they faced, it quickly became obvious which agency was the #1 concern to them, the Environmental Protection Agency. This hearing will provide Congress with an opportunity to understand how all the regulations in the pipeline at EPA, in addition to the ones already in existence, impact a critically important part of our economy. I would like to take a moment to say how disappointed I am that the EPA chose not to send a witness to this hearing. The reason given was that their witness would not be scheduled to testify alone on the first panel. I think this subcommittee has been very fair in offering to seat their witness alone on a second panel that would be guaranteed to start at 10:30 sharp this morning. However, that offer was rejected. It's too bad that the EPA not only refuses to sit at a witness table with some of the very people that they are regulating, but also refuse to wait and listen to the rest of the witnesses' testimony. Also, in contrast to the EPA, our other witnesses here today have agreed to take time out of their schedules and provide their testimony to us without a list of demands. EPA's behavior is the type that gives people throughout the country the impression that their government is aloof and not listening to them. Despite EPA's lack of participation, I still think we can have a productive and informative hearing. The panel we have here today can speak very well to the cumulative impact of government regulations. This information, straight from the people affected, is invaluable. In fact, the committee even has a website, AmericanJobCreators.com, where any American can log in and tell us their story. We are listening, and we want to hear what you have to say. With that, I would yield 5 minutes to the Ranking Member, Mr.